On my phone so we can see comments too. Hey, 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 guys. Good morning and happy Saturday. How are y'all? If you're watching the replay, make sure to hit us with the hashtag replay. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching live, say hi. We're watching the comments, so feel free to leave any questions or anything you guys want to say. So we'll get back to you guys. We want to say hi to everyone who's watching. I have my beautiful, amazing, phenomenal friend on here, Heather Love. I'm so excited for you guys to hear her story. She is a badass. And that's just that. And when I shared my post the other day introducing her, I called her a diamond. And I really mean that. The first time I heard her story, I was just like, okay, girl, you're a diamond. You have been put through the pressure and you seriously have made something beautiful out of it. And I can't wait for you to share your story with everybody. So tell us about you, Heather.
Well, thanks for having me on. I 38 years old. I live in Pennsylvania, and life has changed quite a bit these last 6 years. I'm just a regular mom, like most of y'all. I am now, I have a blended family of 8. I have 3 of my own, and the littlest 2 are 6 and 4. So they keep me super busy. But life wasn't always so good and grand. I've struggled a lot, and life was pretty hard for me. And I was dealt some really crappy cards. And there comes a time in life when things happen to you and you have to make a decision, right? Like, this is either going to completely break me, or I'm going to learn something from it and try to be better and, have a different life or just work for something. And that really is what happened to me in 2006. But before 2006, I had a really troubled life. I have been given some incredible things to overcome, and it is taking beating after beating after beating for me to say, like, I'm tired of running, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to do something for me. I dealt with child molestation. I was 3 years old when I told, and it continued to happen until I was 11 years old. And it was family members and, someone from church and a babysitter's brother. And you grow up dealing with all of this abuse, right? From people you're supposed to trust, and you're told not to tell people. And all of these things really ruin the mind of a young child. And I dealt with so much. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel protected. And you start making bad choices. And, things at home were never good because one of those abusers was a family member. So, my relationship with my mom and dad was always, it was always a fight. It was always a fight, right? Like, as soon as I realized I had a mouth and I could talk, like, I was talking back, and it just really made things difficult. But trying to understand me, and whatever. So I wasn't the easiest kid, right? But it was because of the things that was going on at home. And I actually ended up leaving home at 14. And I went to go live with a grandparent, and my grandmother was ailing. She needed someone to take care of her. And in the midst of going to take care of her, my grandfather ended up dying. So now I've dealt with all of this mess, and now I'm dealing with another thing that someone in high school shouldn't have to go through. I'm caring for my elderly grandparents, and now going to school and juggling all of these things, right? I started choosing the wrong boys and ended up, I got pregnant senior week and ended up being, of course, a single mom. I knew making the decision to have that kid, like I was going to have to take care of him by myself. And that's what happened. I was a single mom for 12 years and I was young. Oh my God. I was young and I knew everything and I didn't want anybody's help. I didn't want anybody's advice. And I made a lot of bad choices. Or I made some bad choices, but it was just me and him and I was doing my best and I was working and I had bad relationships and that bad relationship with the boyfriend became violent and I had PFAs and I'm trying to get away from the abuse and and I started hitting back and getting into it, you know what I mean, like things just start getting deeper.
Yeah.
And um you know you really need to pay attention to those things. And I was a young girl and I had a little boy and um once they start hitting you, it usually doesn't stop, right? And then I got tired of being hit, but I would leave and go back. And then I started hitting back. And that's when it got even worse. But I knew that. I prepared myself. It was like this mental thing, like, I'm tired of him hitting on me, like, I'm going to start hitting back. But you know that you're about to get your ass really beat now, right?
Mhm.
So I had to prepare myself for that. And I'm saying these things because I know that these things are still happening and women are still dealing with these things, young and old. And it got worse and worse. And the threats, you just take them as threats because you're used to hearing them. And, until one day his threat to kill me, like he actually sent someone after me, right? So like you absolutely have to take these things way more serious. Like I had a kid, I had to protect me, I had to protect my son. And we put ourselves in situations and we deal with things and people for too long. And a bad thing happened and I had to actually go on trial because I protected myself. And now all of these things. And I'm 23 years old, I think 23.
Oh
20,
yeah.
I'm young, right? And going through all of these things and not really having any real guidance and trying to go through life and fight for my life, right? It was a year I had to go through court cases and troubles or whatever, but I got through it and the case got thrown out. But my mind was everywhere. That was the first time I was diagnosed with PTSD. I mean, I dealt with depression and things all my life because I've been going to therapy since I'm a young kid, right?
Mhm.
But it was different this time, right? I was scared to leave my house. It was a different kind of fear. I was on all kinds of medicines and I was full of anxiety and I was trying to navigate life and I had no clue on what to do next, right?
Yeah.
I started getting back to normal after dealing with a year from hell and I went back to work, but I was still super vulnerable and I was still, in just a bad place, right? And I let someone take advantage of me thinking that, I need to get away. Like I'm about to turn 25. It's about to be my birthday. Like I just kept saying, I need a vacation. I need a vacation. I need a vacation. Like I want to put my feet in some sand somewhere. I just kept saying this thing over and over. Now I understand, like your words have so much power and you bring things into your life that you don't understand. But I remember those days. I remember saying those things. And one day, one of my coworkers approached me with, "Hey, I gotta go. I gotta go out of the country. I gotta go home and get some paperwork for my mom. Do you want to come with me? It's your birthday. We can go to the beach. It's beautiful there." And I started looking the places up online. I'm like, yeah, like I want to go there. I want to get away. And it was exotic and it was tropical. And like I was turning 25 and I just had dealt with all of this crap. And
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect, right? I wasn't in my right mind. And I decided to leave my 5-year-old at home with my mom and go on this, I think it was 8 days. It was an 8-day vacation out of the country. My first time ever. I had to get a passport. Like I was excited. And it was for my birthday. I was going to come home just 2 days or 3 days before my birthday. And I left April 20th. I was supposed to come home April 28th. And I didn't come home for 3 years because that person who took me there all on lies. I never went to a beach. I never went to the things or places that he had talked about. And I was in a country that I didn't even speak the language. Like I was terrified, but more so, I just wanted to get home to my son. Like,
Yeah, we're so this is emotional. We're gonna be crying. The tears are gonna be flowing.
I just wanted to get home to my baby. And it was the most terrifying experience. Like not being able to talk to people for as many times as go. I'm fine. Go. It was just it was horrible. Like I woke up in a jail cell on my 25th birthday. Like I didn't know what to do. So imagine my mind state.
It had to be extremely just like scary.
I went
and you were still dealing with PTSD then too, right?
Yeah. And now the thing that you would never think, right? Like I for 8 months go upstairs, please go upstairs. For 8 months I was like in a I don't even in a daze. I wasn't there for, oh my God, 2 weeks, and I had a nervous breakdown and they sent me to a mental hospital. And I didn't eat. It was bad. It was bad. And I slept for, oh my God, like I just slept. And there was one day when I was in that mental hospital. There just so happened I was lucky enough to get a doctor who spoke English. All right. So, he had understood what was going on with me. And there were people who tried to help me. Right.
Yeah.
But there was so many people who just tried to take advantage of the fact that I was American. I was just a dollar sign. And I didn't even have any money. I didn't have anyone there, right? So there would be lawyers, there would be different people coming, and I just wanted to get home, right? So I would take I would go up and I would talk to someone and, hear what they have to say and see how they could help me. And it just never happened. And then there was this doctor and he took me to the hospital and he offered to keep me there longer, right? So that I didn't have to go back to the prison. And so that it would give me a little bit more time, to, I guess, maybe accept what was happening or, ease into reality or just get grips, or I don't know. But I don't think I was there a week. And there was one day I opened the door. So there was a guard with me the whole time. And I opened the door the one day and I remember the people, like, they were legit, like they needed to be there, right? And I remember them pacing back and forth. I remember seeing some of the stuff that was going on. And I was just like, I'm really going through something. Like, I'm truly going through something, but I don't want to stay here. Like, I don't feel like I belong here. So I knew that I needed to go back to the prison and I needed to deal with whatever it was that I needed to deal with. And granted, it took me about 8 months. Like, it took me 8 months, and I don't speak Spanish. I don't read it. I don't write it. I took Spanish when I was in middle school and I passed. I failed in high school, right? I live in a community where it's Spanish speaking. I have lots of friends and their parents and stuff that speak Spanish. So I'm familiar, right? But
Yeah.
I was never capable of having a conversation or understanding everything. I could pick out words. That was it. When I got there, the embassy had to tell me how to ask to go to the bathroom and to tell somebody that I was hungry and I wanted to eat something, right? Like, I legitimately could not communicate with these people. And I was lucky if I found someone who spoke English, because they don't speak English. Like, they
Right.
don't. There's few of them, and there's a couple that do speak, and there's a lot that think they do and they can't. Like, and that was the deal, that I had translators like in court that were trying to translate for me what's happening, and I couldn't understand the translator type of thing. And
Yeah.
it was horrible. And one day I decided I was going to teach myself to speak Spanish. Like, there was no, like, I understood I was in a maximum security facility. I understood that I was in a place with people who were very dangerous. I started listening to the stories of why people were there. And I knew that I needed to at least be able to protect myself. If somebody was talking and they were saying that they were going to do, I needed to know, like, I needed to know.
Yeah.
So they told me that I could have a TV. And I got a TV from the outside, and I started watching the news, and I was able to put closed caption on the bottom of the TV. So as the reporter would talk, I would watch her lips move. So I knew how to say the word.
Yeah.
And reporters enunciated everything perfectly, right? So there was no mistaken. And if I didn't understand the word, I had a Spanish English dictionary, and that's how I taught myself Spanish. So now I can read it, write it, and speak it, and I can communicate. As a matter of fact, at work, I get all the Spanish speaking patients because I speak and nobody else does. It's harder for them. So it took a while, right? Like,
Yeah.
while, but I understood that I wasn't going anywhere. And I didn't know for a long time how long I was going to be there or what was going to happen to me. But I knew I was going to be there. I knew I wasn't going home no more. I stopped letting of everybody's fake, stories fill me up with beliefs that I was going to go home, or if I paid a certain amount of money, I could go home. Like, I finally realized that was all not going to happen. And like, I was going to have to ride it out.
Make the
And
best of your time.
yeah.
That's one thing I was like, we watched your episode last night and the kids were in and out and they seen it. And then when you got to the part you're teaching yourself to speak Spanish, and my son was like, wow, that's cool. Like, that's really cool. And that's just like making the best out of your situation.
Well, it was survival, right? Like, I had
Yes.
and then, like, I don't think, okay, so I definitely understand that my family doesn't understand what it's like to be in prison, period, whether it is in the United States or it is outside of the country. Okay.
Mhm.
I completely get that. But even I didn't understand, right? Even I didn't understand until I was living it. And I had nothing, like, there was nothing provided to me. The clothes that I got there with is the clothes that I had to do my time with. I also had to wash those clothes by myself, by hand. I had to provide my own soap and toothpaste, and I'm a woman, so pads and tampons and all of that stuff, I have to provide that stuff. I'm poor. Nobody's sending me any money. Like, I have no money. Like, that was the wake up call of my life. Like, if, I was a single mom and I was young and figuring stuff out, right? But I always had a job. I always provided for us, and I had assistance where I could get it, right? Um, I I I put my skills to use. And in prison is where I started my first business. And I started doing hair. That somehow the ladies found out that I could do hair. Because I came in around go. I came in around May. So Mother's Day happened and they got this big shipment of hair dyes and stuff. And I don't know, I ended up putting hair dye on somebody, and one thing after another, I could cut hair, and they had a salon. They had a salon in the prison. And there was another woman in my same, we called it a patio, but in the same block where there was a couple of them, right? That she spoke Spanish and she spoke English, and she worked in the beauty salon. And she started taking me over to the salon with her, and that was great. It got me out of the patio, and I was doing something other than driving myself crazy. Yeah. And I was cutting hair. I could cut any kind of hair, but I was really good at cutting short hair, and nobody could. So that she used me to do that, right? So I started working in the salon, and then I started working in the patio. And the guards would bring me in my scissors and my blow dryer and my color, and they would meet someone outside for me. And that's how I lived. Like, that's how I bought my calling cards to call my son. That's how I bought my soap and my shampoo and my toothpaste. And I did have a little bit of help there when I was in Colombia. There was a little old lady who came. She had a church, and she would come see me. And when she first started, she was at my court cases and everything. And when she first came to see me, she would bring somebody who could speak English so we could communicate. And then she started coming all by herself. And, as the time went on, and Hilda was an angel for me, and she didn't have nothing. Like, she was poor herself, but that little humble old lady, she would wait in lines on a Wednesday to drop me off a bag of a roll of toilet paper or a toothpaste or whatever she could. And when she could come give me a visit, because I didn't have visits, there was no who was coming to see me. When she could come on a Sunday, she would come and she would bring me lunch and she would sit with me. And so I did eventually get a little bit of, human love and affection, I did have that while I was there. But so many things happened to me while I was there, like I got really sick too. And you don't get good care when you're in prison. They don't have money for that, right? They barely have money to feed people, and much less in a third world country. Like, let me tell you, like, if we don't know that we are privileged living in America, and the things that we have, like lights and warm water and heat, and, and just being able to go to school, and the things that we take for granted, like, you think until you're there. And like, I lived in a third world country with people who that was their normal. They had houses with dirt floors. They didn't have bathrooms. They would go poop in a hole outside. So like, the water didn't run in there every day, all day. Like, if there's no water, the toilets don't flush. What are you going to do with 60 women using 3 toilets and the water doesn't flush? There's no water to drink. There's no water to take a shower. Like, every single day the water would turn off, for hours. I guess it's the way that their water system is. It's not, they don't have enough water going into the cities, or I don't know, but all the time. And one time it didn't turn on for 3 full days. Like I had to take cold showers. Like, y'all be doing cold shower challenges, and I will never, I won't do it no more. But I found ways to heat up my water. But 3 years, I lived that. right? And I had to find a way to make the worst situation possible a livable one, right? And I did things that I didn't know would benefit me. Like I kept a journal. I started writing to my son, and I was writing the things that I wanted our future to be, and how desperately I didn't want him to feel like I had abandoned him, and like I wanted him to know my heart, and I wanted him to know the things that I was going through and the things that I was going to do when I got there, and how I was going to change our life. And I wrote, and sometimes I would write for hours and hours. And I have these 3 books, these 3 journals full of things that I wrote to him. And I didn't know then that I was doing it, but I was putting into the universe the things that I was going to manifest. And in those dark days, like I couldn't see how I would do anything, or I just knew that I was going to be better, and I was going to do something, and I was going to make up for that time that was stolen from us.
Yeah.
And when I got sick, I was I had always had lady problems, always. Like I would have really bad periods, I would have pain, I would go to the doctor, they would tell me, oh, it's just a period, take some Motrin, right? Like and I got really sick. I started hemorrhaging. I started losing my hair. I was losing weight. I was sick all the time, in pain, and I'm in there, not giving me nothing. I the one good thing about being there and being American is that you have the embassy sometimes for some things, and they decided to step up for this, and they made the prison take me out and be seen by a real doctor. And when they took me out to see this doctor, they did surgery on me, and they discovered that I had stage 4 endometriosis, which meant that by the time they caught it, it was so bad that my intestines were glued to my uterus from scar tissue.
Wow.
And they told me that it was so bad. They went in there and they did, what they could to make me feel better and for the time, but they told me that I would never have kids again. Right. I wasn't even 30 years old, and being a mom is like super important to me. And it was like another jab. It was like another knife in my back. Like now all of these things, now I can't even go home and try to have a normal family and, live a normal life.
Yeah.
But I didn't accept that. Like that
Right.
wasn't true. But it was just like, every time I turned around, it was something horrible. It was something bad. Like, how am I going to ever, I don't know. I'm a woman. Like, we want to have babies, right? Like,
And you only had Jeremiah at that point.
I only had Jeremiah. And I got sick. When I got sick, my judge came to see me. I think I had been writing him letters. For a while, asking, for him to take some time off for me, to let me go home. And I don't know if he knew that I was sick, but it was like the week after I had surgery. And he asked me if I had some place to go in the street. Came to visit. He wanted to see if I had some place to go. And I told him yes, that I could go stay with Hilda. And he was just like, well, go write me a letter for house arrest, and I'll grant it. And then you can stay in the street for the rest of your time, and then I'll send you home. So I did. I wrote the letter, and 2 weeks later, he let me out, and I got released the week of Thanksgiving. And I got to have Thanksgiving in the street, and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving there. Like that's a us thing. That's an American thing. So like they had no idea, but like there was no way. Like and every year, like I still do Thanksgiving super big because it's just my thing.
Yeah.
And I lived in the street with Hilda for 6 months, and I got to come home. But while I was, the whole time, ladies, I need you to go upstairs. Go upstairs while I finish. Well, you can't, but you got to be quiet in here. So you got to go upstairs.
But we'll be quiet.
Oh, they just want to show up, Mom. They just want to show their little faces.
So,
Cute.
so I lost what I was saying.
So you were staying with Hilda. Well, yeah, we were talking about staying with Hilda.
Oh, well, I was with Hilda. A woman came to see me. So while I was in the prison, there was a journalist who used to come see me. And I never understood why, but he would come and he would pull me out of the patio and he would talk to me and he would ask me questions about the things that were happening, how I was feeling. And it was somebody to talk to in English. So I took advantage of it. But while I was out on house arrest, he had sent somebody to come find me at the prison and I wasn't. So they came to the house to find me, and come to find out he wanted to talk to me and he wanted to help me get home because I had no way to get home. I had to buy a new passport. So I'm not in the prison anymore. So I wasn't working and I wasn't allowed to leave the house. So I couldn't make any money. So he offered to do a story. He wanted to do my story and he wanted to follow me home. And in change for doing my story, they were going to pay for my passport. They were going to pay for my plane ticket and they were going to follow me home and, record my interaction getting back to my son. So I did it. I didn't have any other way for a plane ticket or whatever. And it also gave me something to do while I was, in the street. So they would come to the house and we would talk, but I got home and, even though I called Jeremiah religiously, I sent him things home all the time. He didn't recognize me when I came. And I had lost. It was like, I had known it was a while into it that I had felt like, like I wasn't a mom anymore. Like I had felt like that, right? Because he was living with my mom and someone else was doing that. It was hard. I had to build my relationship with him. Like I had to start all over. And I was scared. I didn't know how to parent, right? Like, so I'm not allowed to yell at him right now. And like, it was just this silly cycle of things that I had, that it was this fight and it was this, I had to give myself time and I had to give myself grace and I had to figure out a way, to be his mom. And I got right back to it. Like I got home, I got my baby, like, things were not easy. Things were not easy.
Yeah.
I would jumping from place to place because things weren't right. And it took me a couple months until I got a job, and then a couple more months until I got my own place. And then, then we were good. I got my real estate license, and then, I bought us a house, and it was stuff, just like life started happening and the doors started opening, and I kept myself in a bubble, right? Like, but I was determined and I was focused and I was going to do all of those things that I had written about for 3 years. I was going to have a good life, and I was going to give him better than I had. And I was going to make up for those things. And we were going to travel and we were going to do all of these things. And I was just so determined. And then I decided I didn't want to be single anymore. And I wanted him to have a dad, and I wanted to change things. And I did that. And we had babies that they said I couldn't have. And then life started to happen, right? All of those things that I wanted to happen happened, but I didn't deal with all of the trauma. I didn't deal with all of the pain. I didn't deal with all of the years of the things that had happened to me, right? Most people can't come and just live a normal life. Most people are going to struggle in some kind of addiction. They're going to have bad relationships. They're going to have, those cycles typically repeat themselves. Because it's hard. These things that I carry around are hard. But I didn't know any way better. And I thought my way of running from things and avoiding them and not talking about them and not, just completely forgetting that they're there and keeping myself busy and focused and having babies and working and would be great. It actually turned out to be the opposite. And the depression really started to kick in. And the weight started to pile on and the health issues started to come. And, it's easy for us moms. I'm talking to them right now because that's who it is, who it's easy for us to forget about us because we're focused on taking care of the kids, of the house, of the husband, going to work. I was a new mom and I was working full time and I'm running the house and I'm doing all of these things. And I was needed to be super mom and I was breastfeeding only. And I want to stay home and I don't want to work outside and I don't want to take them to daycare, right? Like we put all of these things on ourselves, but I'm not taking care of me, right? I'm not, am I eating enough? Am I sleeping enough? And am I doing this? Am I taking care of me? No. And then I'm not being the mom that I want to be. I'm not being the wife I need to be. I'm not functioning normal. And the depression hits and it hits hard. And the medicine wasn't helping. Like they just kept giving me more medicine and more medicine.
Yeah.
And I got suicidal. And it's just like you listen to all these things, right? Child molestation, physical abuse, right? I had to go to prison. I lost my son. Like that relationship was broken. Like what else? Like it was hard to get up every day. It was hard to lift my head off the pillow. These things weigh you down and they make you not want to show up for life. It just does. And I found myself on Facebook one day, I was on Facebook one day and I saw something about a weight loss. It was a post about weight loss and all these women were having all of these great results. And, I know you see all this crap and you don't believe anything. And I was just feeling so crappy. I was like, well, yeah, right. So I started watching, like I was stalking, really.
Yeah.
I started watching her posts. And then one day I reached out and I'm just like, what is this stuff really about? Like, what is it? Can you send me the ingredients? I'm breastfeeding. I'm already got a million issues I don't want to deal with, right? Like, I don't want to bring more problems on myself. So I took it to my doctor and they said I could take it. Then I went to the pediatrician because I was nursing and they said I would be fine, no problem, right? So I started taking these supplements that I had found online from a complete stranger. And completely, I think she was in Texas. So she was nowhere even close to me. I couldn't go talk to her, touch her, nothing. I started taking these supplements and I bought like a 2-week sample. One was supposed to be for me, one was supposed to be for my husband, but he didn't take them. So I had 2 weeks. And day 3, it was like I wasn't tired and I didn't need a nap when I came home from work. So I was like, wow, like this is great. I wasn't getting any more sleep than I was before. But I felt like I was sleeping better. Like I felt rested when I woke up. So I just knew that I wanted to keep taking these pills. I wanted to keep taking these pills. Ladies, go upstairs. Go play in the other room. I wanted to keep taking the pills, right? Yes, of course, I want to lose some weight, but the way that I felt in that moment was just good enough for me. And little did I know that these little pills that I had decided to take would make so much of a difference, because I started sharing my fat pictures with the world. Now, all of those things that had happened to me caused me to have the worst social anxiety ever. Like, I didn't like people. I didn't want to be around people I didn't know. I didn't want anybody to know anything about me. If they didn't know it, that was better for me. That was like, I loved it. Right. And I started sharing my fat pictures because the first month I lost 18 pounds and I couldn't believe it. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe it. And people kept just asking me at work what I was doing. And I don't know. So I just started doing what the person who showed it to me was doing. And I just started sharing my before and afters and talking about the stuff that I was doing. And I did not go into this for a business, right? Like, it really was about the product, the way that it was changing me and making me feel about me. And that's really what it was, because I was growing and I was selling, and, you know, I had a lot of customers. I had really no idea what the business really meant or what we were doing or what I was really building. Right. I didn't know. But it's 6 years now. It's 6 years now.
And you're
And
killing it.
I just earned my first trip. Like, I'm going to Hawaii in a couple weeks. I'm a 2-star director now because I have a little bit of a clue now. I know I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. But the thing is that I'm making money from my home while I have the kids, while, you know what I mean? I can do it around work because I am working outside of the home again, right? But this little business that
Yeah.
that I get to do from my phone, it's helping other moms that may just be stay-at-home moms bring in a couple $100 a month, and they're getting healthy, they're losing weight, they feel good about themselves, right? Yes. Yes. It's a way, it's completely different than what our parents and the people before us were doing, right? But
Yeah.
it is legitimate work. Like, I have a 1099. I could actually show it to you if you want me to. I have it printed out. Like, I have to claim taxes on it. Like, and if it's nothing more than I get to help another mom lose 20 pounds or
Or just another mom feel better.
feel better.
Because I was also in a very depressed and dark place when I started. That was one of the things that got me. It was like, I feel so much better. I don't need the depression man. So, like, just helping another mom feel better. That's like the most rewarding thing that we do. That's like,
You're alone, right? We're in the house.
yeah.
We're doing all of these things, right? And no matter how much, you know, there are other people, like, it's just, we have a lot of things that we go through and we deal with, right? Not to say that these products are not for men, because they are. Like, they work for everybody. My husband is a truck driver and he's lost 40, maybe 50 pounds now. He still doesn't, right? So, like, it helps him while he's driving, right? Like, it's helped us develop a better lifestyle. And that's the point, right? And it meets anybody wherever you are. It doesn't matter if you have 10 pounds to lose or 100 pounds to lose. The products meet you where you are in the moment, right? And they help you get to a point where you have enough energy to go to the gym. I never went to the gym. Like, I never walked on a treadmill or did any of those things because my asthma was always so bad all my life. Like, I wouldn't dare exert myself any more than I needed to ever. Right. And I don't go to the gym anymore right now, but I have a treadmill and an elliptical at my house. I was going to the gym for 2 years, like, and I would go and just figure out, like, I don't have a clue. But I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to learn, right? I changed my diet. I have a whole garden. Like, half of my backyard is a garden because I've poured into self-development. I've paid attention. Like, this business, it has allowed me to find me, right? Like, it's taught me how, by helping other people, it's helped me learn how to love me, right? Like, it's helped me learn, you know, how it is important. It is important for you to pay attention to you. It is important for you to want things and listen to your dreams and go after them, right? Like nobody's going to fight for your dreams harder than you're going to fight for them, right? And before this, I just wanted to be a mom. Like I just wanted to have kids and, and then what happens when the kids grow up and they move out and they have their own lives, and that 5-year-old is 20 now. And yeah, I started over and we have a blended family and we have 8 kids. We got 5 kids in the house. I have plenty of them to keep me busy, right? But they're going to leave one day, right? And they're all starting to be at points where they don't need me as much, right? Like
more independent and
yeah, right.
Feeling when they start getting independent, you start feeling a little useless. And like it's a tough feeling to deal with.
This and I can watch and I'm reading posts and blogs about this is a normal thing that happens to women, right? Like because we spend so much of our time, pouring and nurturing into our family and into our husbands and our children. And then like when those things change, then you feel that there's a void, right? Because you don't need me to do that anymore, or you don't, your purpose, right? Your purpose. And it is perfectly okay for us to have something else that brings us joy and passion, and this benefits our families and the things that we are able to show them and teach them. And we're eating better, like our kids are drinking better drinks, like they like the heart and hydration, like they know about mom got to get her steps, like they get to go on business trips with us, and they get to travel, and it is something that we bring everybody into, right? We don't have to seclude ourselves, but if you want to, you can too. That's the beauty of business. If you want to just do you can just do you. If you want to build a team, you get to do that. You get to make this as big or keep it as little as you want to, but the community is amazing and it just helps you blossom. It helps you find other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing and relate, because it's a struggle. It's not easy. There's going to be weeks and months where nothing happens. Your weight loss doesn't go anywhere, or you spend 6 months like me gaining and losing the same 3 pounds, and only someone else who's going through the same thing is going to understand your frustration, because that shit is the pits, like when you're really trying to get somewhere, right? Like, and it's just something that lots of people deal with and struggle. And I go to work, I have kids, I have a husband, I have to go to the grocery store, and I work nights. So I have another juggle, right? Like you find things that work, and these supplements help make every day easier. That's it. Like I'm off of 7 prescription meds. My supplements give me energy. Like, calm gummies. If you got kids and your kids ain't taking calm gummies, I don't know how bedtime is. Like,
we even stopped.
So we come at a time. Like, if I'm running low, I'm ordering 1 bottle in between. Like, it's just there's a way that this business has impacted every part of my household, right? It's something that we're teaching them great things. We're teaching them healthy ways, and we're teaching them how to make more money, how to be creative and be entrepreneurs. And it's just really a benefit all around for everyone. It really is. And when you go back and you log into that back office every day and you see how much money you've earned, like, I just feel like that's my reward for losing the 100 pounds that I've lost. Right. So like, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And I want people to know you need to do that. Like, life is not always easy, but it is absolutely worth living. And it's even better when you have other people who are doing things and they're happy about what's going on, and you're excited about the future and you're working towards things. Like, you really have to learn to keep positive people in your circle and get rid of the negativity, so you can do something, because there's plenty of negative stuff out there, but that's not going to get you nowhere.
Exactly. Link arms with people that are pushing to do more. That is so super important. There's a quote that I see all the time. It's common, just like who you hang around with is who you're gonna become. You hang around
First,
five
locked
broke
together.
people, you're gonna become the fifth broke person.
Yeah.
Or four, whatever.
And
But it's so true.
it is,
You
because
hang around people who are positive and always searching for more, always learning and growing. You're gonna learn and
they
grow.
make you want to be better. They push you to do it, right? And like, it's challenging because it's uncomfortable doing things that you don't know. And like, you have to learn. And we're adults, like adult learners, like it takes a little bit longer for some people, right? Like, and it is harder, but I've learned through the whole self-development and putting in the work, like it does you no benefit to be the smartest person in the room. And if you're in that room, you're not going to get any smarter, right? Like you're not going to learn anything else because you think you know it all already, right? Like, so putting myself in rooms with people like way above my pay grade and like, whoa, and just learn, and the things that they've accomplished, it's pretty incredible at how willing that these people are to teach you what they know. And you just got to be coachable, right? Like you just have to really want to learn, because there's a lot of people out there willing to teach you, and you just you gotta you gotta do a little bit of homework, because everybody's not real. But this is not this industry has a lot to offer a lot of people, and a lot of people, meaning anyone can do it. I understand it's not for everyone, but anyone who has any kind, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you've been through, what walk of life you've been, like anybody can start a little business and make some money, like anybody. And you can make it as big as you want to, or you can make it so that it just pays your car note, or just pays so that you can keep getting your supply every month and you're not putting another bill on your family. Like that was my goal. I don't pay for
That was
myself,
how mine started too, and it just grew.
and it gets bigger and bigger, and that monthly check, and it fluctuates. Listen, I'm not saying it's all rainbows, because it's a business. It's a real business, right? Like all you control is what you do. You can't control what customers order. You can't control when or what they do. You can only control how you show up for your business and the things that you do, right? So like 1 month you may have an amazing month, and the next 3 months might look like this, and you might really feel it and be hurt, and those things happen. But like, it's been 6 years of a wave, and you learn when your good months are, you learn when your slow months are, you learn new ways to help your customers. And there are people who are really dedicated to helping, right? And we can give our customers all of the right information, but we can't make them do it. It's the same thing with the business. I can tell you where to go. I can tell you who knows what. I can tell you the things you should be doing, but I cannot do it for you. But I'm also not going to tell you to do something I'm not going to do myself. So, I show up, I do what I'm doing, but I'm not going to ask any of my people to do anything. And it's a learning curve, and it takes time, but God, it's so worth it, because 6 years, and I earned the hardest trip that they say, that it's been to qualify for. And I get to go to Hawaii. Like it's amazing, right? Like, and I get to show off like my hard work, because I've worked hard to lose that weight. Like, and
you look so good. Your update pictures look awesome.
I cut my hair yesterday, really trying to get ready.
Good. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see pictures of you living it up in Hawaii, girl. I'm not going this time. I didn't earn this one. This one was hard. You killed it.
Oh, the airports are they're my arch enemy, because I get the worst anxiety. They make me nervous. Like I sweat, I get rashes under my armpits every time I travel. Like my anxiety goes through the roof. I don't even want to check in a bag. Like my husband is on my ass about, I got 3 carry-ons. Like I'm not checking in nothing. Like, and I just don't like to do it anymore, because, it's just something that sticks with me. And, like, at least I'm flying. Like I'm still going. I haven't let it stop me from doing that. Like, I get scared, I get nervous, but I do that shit anyways. Like, I look that fear in the face and I'm going to go, because if I don't, it's not hurting anybody else. Oh, sorry.
I'm not off for a minute, but you're back. And if you can get on an airplane after your experience and fly like, oh gosh, you have to take some calm gummies.
Yeah, girl, two patches, a calm gummy, and maybe even a Xanax or an Ativan or something. Like, but I'm gonna get on that plane. Last year, I flew all by myself to Mississippi, and I had to get off of one plane and get on another teeny tiny small plane. Like, I thought I was gonna lose it, but I'm doing it. Like, I want to experience, like, stuff was stolen from me, like my innocence, like 3 years of living like real life. Like, there's just no way. Like, and if I want to, I have moments that I battle my depression and I can't leave. I can't do nothing. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm not posting nothing. Like, that happens. It's my real life. It's my story. Like, I it's a battle that I go through. Right. But I get better and better. The longer I'm doing this, the better I get at dealing with those things. It's all about how I'm reacting to how I'm feeling and the situations that are happening. And I get triggered and I react at times, and I'm just as human as everyone else. I cuss, I yell, like, I cry, like, but I have a goal. Like, I want to be the best version of myself. And this business and this thing that I have created has just allowed me to blossom. And it keeps giving me opportunities to learn more and to do new things. And like, it's scary, but it's exciting and it's really worth it. And it is definitely something that I think more people should be doing, because there's so many more people out there that are just like you, that can relate to the things that you're going through. Everyone has a story, and you don't gotta tell your story. Like, I'm getting to tell my story. I couldn't tell it for 14 years. I couldn't do what I'm able to do now. And I understand that, there's a plan in everything, and people go through things, and sometimes you go through them so that you can help other people. Right. And so it wasn't just my weight loss. The weight loss is just what got me to be able to, like, there's so much more. Like, there's so much more. Weight loss is usually the end result of all of that other shit that happened. And, like, that's where you find your comfort. And I love to cook. So I love to eat, right? Like, I just do it in a different way now. That's all.
And I love seeing your food posts, by the way.
I don't do all vegan anymore, but I like to get creative. Like, I like to do the different stuff. It feels good. That's how I get to show my love to the house.
Love that. And you made so many good points today. I love it. I want to check the comments just to see if there's any questions or anything. And everyone says they love you. And we have people asking about where they can watch it. Can I share that? Do you want that shared?
Sure.
Okay. Guys, if you want to watch the episode of the show she's on, where she talks about her experience, that she talks about here today, very emotional experience, and tough experience, you can watch her. I found it on Hulu last night. She is on season 10 of Locked Up Abroad, episode 8. You guys can watch her there if you want to watch more about that story. We watched it. I was bawled like most of the time. And I was like, I know I'm going to be bawling tomorrow on the video with her too. But I'm so glad that you took time to hop on here with me this morning.
You're welcome.
You're so amazing, girl. Like, literally, you are. And I'm excited to see your pictures of you in Hawaii and to watch you crush this business. Because you're a rock star. You really are.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So are you. You're doing your thing over there.
Thanks, girl. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Show Heather some love in the comments. And if you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments. We'll come back to y'all. And I love y'all. Y'all have a good Saturday. Well, thanks.
Bye.